My in-laws left my mute and bedridden sister-in-law with me and went on vacation to Hawaii. Before they left, my husband Jack told me it's my job to take care of her and not to slack off. As soon as Jack and his family left, my sister-in-law, who can't speak, sat up and said we should get going too. My name's Lisa. I'm 29 years old. When I was a teenager, I dreamed of becoming a pop star, but as I got older, I realized it was just a passing dream, and before I knew it, I was in my late 20s. I met Jack through a friend and started dating him because my mom, with whom I live, kept asking when she would see her grandchild. Jack once dreamed of being in the entertainment industry too, but now he works at a big company in downtown Manhattan. After college, I worked at a bank until I got married and quit. One day, Jack and I visited his parents' house. Jack's younger sister, Lucy, got sick with a fever when she was little. Her mom thought it was just a cold, but when the fever didn't go away, they took her to the doctor. Turns out she had encephalitis from the flu, which left her with brain damage and bedridden. The fever also damaged the part of her brain that controls speech, so she can't talk. Mostly, it was my mother-in-law who took care of Lucy. For some reason, Lucy and I got along well, and I always looked forward to visiting Jack's family. Since Lucy can't speak, we use sign language to communicate after becoming close. I also naturally learned sign language. One day I signed to Lucy. "We're like best friends who've known each other forever, aren't we?" She replied, "Yes, we are. Let's stay close friends forever." I said, "Of course we will." However, my mother-in-law, who is quite different from Lucy, was always sarcastic towards me. Jack and I live about a 30-minute drive away from his parents' house. Occasionally, my mother-in-law would drive over unannounced and start nitpicking on me. She'd say things like, "Jackie's shoes are filthy. If a man's shoes are dirty, it reflects poorly on his work. It's your responsibility to keep them clean." She always referred to Jack as Jackie and insisted that I fold the laundry neatly because if I didn't, Jackie will be in a bad mood. The one who raised Jack this way was none other than her. No matter how late Jack got home, I was not allowed to go to bed before him, even if he said it was okay for me to do so. My mother-in-law would say such old-fashioned things. When we were dating and initially after we got married, Jack was very kind and never disagreed with me. For example, if I wasn't feeling well and asked him to have dinner outside, he would readily agree. If I saw a designer bag I liked, he would buy it for me the following month. However, about a year after we got married, Jack started to change, or perhaps he returned to his original self. He started coming home late from work, always reeking of alcohol. On weekends, he claimed work kept him away from home, and he would decline my requests to join him when he occasionally visited his parents' home, which was kind of odd. One day, I decided to confront him about it. "Jack, you've become so distant lately. It feels like you're a completely different person," I said. Jack glared at me and replied, "That's not true. You're overthinking things." I retorted, "I don't think I am. You barely talk to me anymore." He told me to stop bringing it up and walked away to take a shower, ending the conversation. One day, Jack surprised me by saying, "This Sunday, I'm going home. What are you going to do?" Jack surprised me with this question, as he had always refused my company on such visits before. "Wait, I can come with you this time," I asked. He replied, "That's why I'm asking." "Well, of course I'll come then. I like to see Lucy too," I added. Jack frowned a bit and said, "You and Lucy seem to get along really well, huh?" "Yes, we do. It feels like we've been best friends forever," I responded, noticing Jack's slight grimace at my words. On Sunday, I drove us to Jack's family home in Nebraska. We stopped at a bakery along the way to buy some pastries as a gift. Jack's mother always frowned when she saw me, but she would light up upon receiving the pastries. When we arrived, his mother came to greet us as usual, but she frowned at my sight, almost as if she was not happy to see me. "Mother-in-law, please have some of these," I said, handing her the pastries. She snatched them from me and peered inside before replying, "Is it these pastries again? They're getting boring, but since you insist, I'll have them." Her face lit up like a child receiving a toy. "Is father around today?" Jack asked. Jack's father was elderly but still worked actively. He's out at a meeting. Why, did you need something? She asked. No, not really. I just had something I wanted to talk about with him, he replied. I hadn't heard anything about this from Jack. What's going on? Did you have something to tell your father? I asked. It's none of your business, Jack responded. What do you mean? We're a married couple, aren't we? Can you just stop nagging? Jack retorted, to which his mother added, Exactly. If Jack doesn't want to tell you something, you shouldn't be prying. I decided not to respond, knowing that arguing with her would be fruitless. Just then, Jack's sister appeared. Oh, Jack, you're here, she said. Sis, perfect timing. I have something to discuss, Jack started. What is it? She asked. I can take a long vacation next month. I was thinking about a family trip to Hawaii. How about you, sis? Jack proposed. I'll pass. I don't have a passport, she replied. I was taken aback. Jack, who was always busy with work and rarely took time off, was suggesting a trip to Hawaii. Jack, is everything all right with your job? I'm only suggesting this trip because my work's going fine, Jack explained. My mother-in-law seemed displeased with my interference in Jack's business. Frowning deeply, she said to me, You shouldn't meddle with decisions Jack has made. You're really nosy, aren't you? That's right. And Lisa, the reason I asked you here today is because I want you to take care of Lucy during the time we're on vacation. Jack's mother continued. I was momentarily taken aback, but then I realized that staying here with Lucy would be much more enjoyable than going on a trip to Hawaii with my mother-in-law. Okay, I will take care of Lucy. But if that was the case, you didn't need to bring me all the way here to tell me that, did you? I said. I figured if I told you in front of my mother, you'd understand quicker, Jack replied. He must have assumed I'd resist when I found out I couldn't go to Hawaii. And if I did, he wanted my mother-in-law to forcefully convince me. It was clear to me that this was his intent. I was left feeling dumbfounded and left the room to head to Lucy's room. Lucy looked delighted to see me. It's been a while. How have you been? I asked. I'm good. What brings you here today? Jack asked me to come with him to our parents' house, so I did. But it's strange. Before, whenever Jack came here, he used to tell me I couldn't come along. My brother is definitely hiding something. He's always been secretive. So apparently he's going to Hawaii next month, but I'll be staying back. I think that's better though, I said with a smile. Lucy also replied with a grin. In that case, you should come over and stay here. Sure, I'll do that. After that, Lucy and I had a great time chatting. I always wondered why Lucy and my mother-in-law were so different. About an hour later, Jack came to get me, and we headed home. At that time, Lucy gave me a slight wink. She revealed a shocking truth and an even more shocking plan to me. A month later, on the day of the Hawaii trip, Jack and I went to his parents' house. Although I wasn't going to Hawaii, I brought my luggage to stay at my in-laws for a week with Lucy. When I returned to the living room, everyone going to Hawaii was already there. It seemed that Jack's father wasn't going, as he wasn't present. As the departure time neared, the entire family, with Jack's voice rising above the rest, chimed in, Taking care of Lucy is your job. Don't slack off. Even my mother-in-law added, Please get along well with Lucy. It's better for you to stay here, isn't it? If anything happens to Lucy, it's all your fault. We'll hold you responsible. It was absurd for someone who was about to abandon their immobile sister for a vacation in Hawaii to say these words, but I did not react at all. It didn't matter what Jack said. I wasn't in the mood to see them off. So I went back to Lucy's room. Right then, Lucy sprang up energetically from her bed and called out to me, Come on, let's get going. It echoed a recent conversation we had when Lucy confessed. You know, I could actually walk, and with walking came the ability to converse. Since when? I asked. Since last year, I suppose. Why have you been hiding this from the rest of the family? Lucy began sharing an unexpected tale. Actually, my father and mother are both remarried. I'm my dad's child from his previous marriage, and my sister and brother are from my mom's side. I was surprised, but considering how distant and cold my mother-in-law usually was towards Lucy, I couldn't help but think, I thought so. Is that so? Lucy confirmed, yeah, my mom despises me, and I didn't want to talk to her, so I pretended that I couldn't. And your father? I inquired. Dad knows everything. He's always on my side. Lucy explained, that's why, regarding this trip to Hawaii, I'm thinking we should go too. I was puzzled, huh? What do you mean? Lucy clarified, I mean, I'm planning to go to Hawaii on the same day with you. We'll even stay at the same resort. Lucy said this with a sparkle in her eye, catching me completely off guard. I'd be thrilled to go to Hawaii with you, Lucy. But do you even have a passport? Lucy reassured me, of course, I secretly got my passport last month. And don't worry about the expenses. My dad is covering our plane tickets and the resort, including yours. I see. I'm really looking forward to this. That's how we ended up at the airport today. When Lucy and I arrived, my father-in-law was there waiting to see us off. He greeted me, Lisa, it's been a while. I know it must be surprising, but I hope you enjoy the trip to Hawaii. Thank you, father-in-law. I feel guilty for all the plane tickets and resort fees you've covered. He reassured me, don't worry about it. As long as you two have fun, I'm happy. I thanked him for his kindness. After that, we boarded a plane from a different airline than my husband's family. We landed in Hawaii early in the morning, took a taxi from the airport, and checked into the resort hotel. Lucy and I were sharing a room. I mentioned to Lucy, your father seems pretty well traveled. Lucy confirmed, yeah, he's been on several international business trips. He's even been to Hawaii a few times. So what's the plan? I'm guessing my mom and everyone will dine at the restaurant here tonight. I'm thinking of surprising them. Lucy suggested, that sounds like fun. I'm excited. Should we get some rest to recover from getting jet-lagged? That sounds like a good idea. I couldn't sleep at all on the plane. After taking a shower, we climbed into bed and quickly fell asleep. We woke up around late afternoon, close to 4 o'clock. Lucy was already awake, starting to wear makeup. I'm sorry I slept too much, I said. No, don't worry about it. I just woke up too. We really had a good sleep, didn't we? Fully recharged and ready for our battle, Lucy replied. Around 7 o'clock, I said to Lucy, I'll go and see at Chuck, the restaurant. As I was looking for Jack and his party from the shadows near the entrance of the restaurant, I found them dining joyfully in a far-off spot. I was too far away from them, so I decided to venture deeper into the restaurant. From my position, all I could see was their backs, and it was hard to identify anyone. But I spotted the back of a young woman that I didn't recognize. There wasn't any such woman when they had left Jack's parents' house. Upon seeing this, I was taken aback, nearly letting out a loud gasp, but I managed to suppress it. When I strained my ears, I could intermittently hear Jack and my mother-in-law's voices. I'm glad it's not that woman today, Jack said. Yeah, I really drew the short straw. She's tainted my family record. If only we had an elegant daughter like her from the start. I want to divorce her and start fresh soon. Try to find a reason for the divorce and extract a hefty alimony from that woman. Even without a cause for the divorce, it's fine. I can fabricate as many as I want. She's so bad that I want to throw her in the trash. I want to see my grandchild from you and her soon, my mother-in-law said to the woman with a smile that she had never shown me before. I was driven by the urge to step forward and confront the woman, but I held it in. I returned to my room and told Lucy that it took a while. I'm sorry. I saw something shocking. Jack brought a woman that I've never seen before, I explained. What? Lucy was surprised. I was about to scream. Jack and my mother-in-law were continuously bad-mouthing me, and Jack even said he would find a reason for divorce. That's terrible. Jack called me a bad catch, but seeing him with another woman, I felt relieved. Now I can divorce him outright. That's a good thing. Shall we make our entrance then? Lucy suggested. Lucy and I headed towards the restaurant hall. When we entered the restaurant, we requested to sit near Jack's table and were able to get a seat quite close to them. They didn't notice our arrival, and as we were sitting quite close, we could hear their conversation well, which was still filled with derogatory comments about me. I was amazed and ended up giving a bitter smile at how they could badmouth me indefinitely. Seeing my face, Lucy gave a nod with a smile, which was a cue for us to begin our counterattack. I stood up from my seat, stepped forward towards Jack, and shouted, "Are you all having a good time?" I'll never forget the look on Jack and my mother-in-law's faces at that moment. Their mouths agape, eyes wide open, they froze for a few seconds. After a few seconds, my mother-in-law finally spoke. "Why are you here? And how did Lucy get here without a wheelchair?" At her words, Lucy stood up, gave my mother-in-law a smile, and said, "I don't need a wheelchair. Thanks to you, my body and speech have returned to normal. I must have caused you quite a bit of trouble for a long time." "When did you regain your ability to speak?" my mother-in-law asked. "I wonder when that was. Maybe last year," Lucy replied calmly. "Then why did you hide it until now?" my mother-in-law questioned. "Because it was better if you guys continued to believe that I couldn't speak. You and Jack were speaking ill of me earlier, weren't you?" Lucy's revelation made my mother-in-law's face turn pale in an instant. "What do you mean?" she asked. "Yeah, we weren't saying anything bad about you, Lisa," Jack retorted. "That won't work. I recorded everything on my phone. Do you want me to play it back right now?" I countered. My mother-in-law fell silent, but Jack stood up, barking, "Lisa, you've been causing me trouble all this time, and now you're making these outrageous claims." Jack's accusations only fueled my resolve. Once I return back home, I'll immediately contact my lawyer to initiate our divorce procedure. You can't deny the fact that you're on a vacation abroad with another woman. Plus, you described getting with me as drawing a blank lottery ticket, so I expect you to demonstrate sincerity by paying a hefty compensation for that comment, I declared. At my words, my mother-in-law seemed to acknowledge her defeat, and her attitude abruptly changed. "Lisa dear, I really like you. Please try to get along with Jack." "This woman is not involved with Jack," she pleaded. "I'm sorry, but I can't do that. Since I am a blank lottery ticket, I cannot live with Jack. Please enjoy your time with this woman. Oh, and I might also seek compensation from her. Isn't that exciting?" I smirked. The woman in question turned pale and began to tremble upon hearing my words. Unfazed by the public gaze, Jack fell to his knees and pleaded, "Lisa, I beg you, don't make this a big deal. My company has strict rules about this." But I remained firm. "I will never forgive you. You are married, and yet here you are on an overseas trip with another woman," I said firmly. Upon hearing my words, my mother-in-law also fell to her knees next to Jack, pleading, "Please forgive my son," tears streaming down her face. By this time, all the other customers were watching us, and the restaurant manager started walking towards our table. Seeing this, I got up and said, "Well, Lucy and I will head back to our room. You all enjoy your Hawaiian vacation. I guess things will get a bit difficult when you get back home," Jack cried out, shouting at the top of his lungs. "Please forgive me. I can't afford to pay any compensation." At his loud outburst, the restaurant manager frowned, instructed something to a nearby staff member, and then briskly told Jack something. It was a polite way of telling him that he was disturbing the other guests and needed to leave. However, Jack was taken aback, not understanding the manager's words. Soon, 2 buffed-up security guards arrived and hauled Jack away. Jack was sobbing and struggling, but he was no match for the 2 bulky men. My mother-in-law and the woman were dumbfounded, unable to utter a word, while Lucy and I were also surprised by the turned events. I thought Jack got what he deserved. A week later, Lucy and I returned home. Jack was quickly released and seemed to have returned to his room. However, I later heard that he had been in a state of shock since returning to his room and had kept to himself until the end of the trip. The day after I returned home, I went to the law firm where my old college friend worked to request a divorce proceeding. Unfortunately, my friend was not present, but a female lawyer was assigned to me. She was very easy to talk to, and I was able to explain everything that had happened. After listening to my story, she assured me that a divorce was possible, that I could claim alimony, and that she would investigate the woman who was with Jack in Hawaii before determining whether I could claim alimony from her as well. A month later, the female lawyer contacted me and informed me that it had been proved that Jack had been dating the other woman for about 6 months. Hence, she said it was possible for me to demand alimony from this woman too. I requested the female lawyer, "Please squeeze as much alimony as you can from Jack and his woman." She smiled and nodded. 2 months later, I was officially divorced, and into my bank account was deposited the alimony from the two. I mumbled as I saw the amount, and that's karma for calling me a blank lottery ticket. 3 months later, Jack and my mother-in-law suddenly visited my place. Despite it being only 3 months, they had lost a lot of weight and looked completely haggard. I asked them, "What do you want?" "I don't want to see your faces." Jack replied in a thin voice, "I'm sorry. Could you lend me some money? I've lost my job, and the woman ran away. I don't even have money for food." My mother-in-law also spoke in a whisper, "I've divorced my husband too. I don't have money. Please, I beg you." My mother-in-law was in tears. I responded, "Too bad. I have absolutely no obligation to help you, and even if I did, I would never help you guys out. Now please leave." After they left, I sprinkled a large amount of salt at my entrance to get rid of bad energy from my house.